Welcome to the Net Hero podcast, specials all about the Big Zero Show. In this briefing, I'll be chatting to one of our speakers who'll explain why it doesn't matter where you start in your sustainability journey. Sometimes the simplest things, or as they call it, the low-hanging fruit, is the best thing you can do. Well, in this Big Zero briefing, obviously, remember the Big Zero Show is coming up on the 2nd and 3rd of July. We're talking about one of the things I think will be very important for the people who are coming and for general conversation, which is how do you take your supply chains on board your net zero journey? And one of our Big Zero lectures will be delivered by Fitzoy Hutchinson, who is the Energy and Sustainability Manager for the Celtic Collection. Now, if you've never heard of that, you've probably heard of Celtic Manor, a fantastic golf course. It does major championships, but it's much more than that. So, Fitzroy, thank you very much for coming on for this quick, short podcast, but also thanks for coming to speak at the Big Zero Show.
Pleasure's mine. Thanks for having me.
Celtic Manor, just briefly for the audience, flipping big, isn't it?
It's massive. Yeah, it's a big estate. On the estate, you have the main hotel, which is up 300 bedrooms plus, and we've also got 3 golf courses on site, 2 golf clubs, and also we have a golf academy on site.
And you've got even a conference centre as well, so it's kind of business, leisure, sport, everything.
Yeah, I mean, in the main resort, we do hold conferences and events, but we also have, just a stone's throw away, International Conference Centre of Wales, which is primarily designed for conference and events.
So you're across the whole thing. You've made a commitment, as you say, to get to net zero. I don't want to go through the meat of what you're going to talk about, but You said before we start recording, it's always important to have people that share your vision.
Yeah.
And that is very important for your supply chain, isn't it?
100%. I mean, we've all, whichever way we like, whether we like it or not, everyone has a responsibility when it comes to sustainability. So in order to do it properly, I think the way that it works is that you have to align yourselves with organizations and individuals that have the same attitude as you do. Because if those guys are driving down their emissions and they're doing everything that they can to positively affect the climate crisis, then that means moving forward, you're all moving in the same direction, but you're all doing it together. So everybody's focus is aligned.
Are you starting to put that as a stipulation for someone who a company that wants to work for you?
Not so much as a stipulation.
Yeah.
Just yet.
Watch this space. No, I know it's not legally, but a lot of companies are trying to encourage their supply chain to do things themselves as well, isn't there?
Yeah. So what we did a couple of years ago, we issued a pre-qualification questionnaire, which was sent out to all of our suppliers. And what that was asking was just to give us an idea of where they sat in terms of what they had structurally in place to tackle sustainability. So did they have an environmental management system? Did they have a sustainability policy or an environmental policy?
Yeah.
Because that would be that's where you start basically. If you've got an environmental standard, then you're already on the journey.
Yeah.
If you don't, but you have a policy, then you know what is required of you as an organization and or an individual. So what we are saying is that we have the intention of long term that we would like to work with those organizations and individuals that also, again, have the same attitude as you do, but have a standard of some description. But for those guys who don't, what we're saying is we're prepared to support you on that journey. Okay, because from our perspective,
that's brilliant.
Like I said, everybody's responsibility. Your job, our job, is to encourage the person next to you to have the right attitude, and so on and so on. So hopefully that attitude snowballs across the piece.
Hospitality is a sector that I think it's kind of quite in our face, isn't it? So these are the things that when you go and you see, most of us have probably been in a hotel room and it says, please don't use the towel every day. If you can, reuse it. There are bins that are marked. Obviously, it's a much bigger play in a place like yours, but do you think the hospitality sector is starting to see that this is quite, we've even done a film on an eco hotel and sustainable. It's starting to be a place where you can see there's a direct kind of, impression of what sustainability means. So for us to go as guests, we're being told, try and do this? Do you think hospitality has started to get that message out there much more than it did before?
Oh, 100%. 100%. I read an article just prior to coming into the industry, and what that said is basically without sustainability, hospitality would struggle. And that to thrive, and look, sustainability it's for us. It's not. We've been doing this for over 30 years. So for us, it's not something. I mean, we were doing it before it was vogue. Yeah. So and we're not paying it lip service. Genuinely embrace every responsibility that sits with us. But yeah, at the end of the day, and more importantly, more so today, we're getting looked at by organizations from the outside in. They only want to work with like-minded individuals and organizations. That responsibility is, we're not shirking away from it. So yes, it is a main part of our day-to-day. So it's in our DNA, if you like.
You've been in the NHS before you worked at Celtic Manor, and that's another huge organisation. We'll have a few speakers there from that. I suppose that the challenges for places like the NHS and for hospitality is that it's such a variety of things. You know, NHS does everything, and hospitality can be a small B&B or it could be a luxurious resort like yours. Do you think that there's a chance that there can be practices that can be passed down so that everyone along that kind of food chain can start to do what they can afford to do? And let's be honest, a lot of changes, you know, chucking up solar panels is not cheap. Changing all the heat pumps is not cheap. So it's sort of businesses have to do what they can do, but need to be on it altogether.
Agreed. I think that we can't sit idle and do nothing. And my mentality is from one of a legacy background.
Yeah.
So therefore, you know, trying to do the best to repair the damage we've done historically, but also developing good standards to help us move forward and to have better practices as we move further into the future. So when it comes to what can you do?
Yes.
You do the best you can.
Yeah. Now that's a great, absolutely. Because people get terrified that they can't do everything. So they're like, don't do anything.
You can't not do anything, right? But then you can't try and do everything all at once. So the way I kind of look at it is evaluate what you've currently got, what you have to manage, and then you take care of that and make sure that your equipment, that your waste streams, that your people, you look after those things and you improve and you help those things improve. Okay, your efficiencies will be there. Your individuals will understand what their responsibility and potentials are, and you help those guys achieve. But then you also have to build a plan of how you move forward. Okay, so you have to understand what technologies are and on the horizon coming now, what technologies are available to you now, and what technologies are emerging way down the line. Because to get to net zero effectively, you have to keep your eyes on absolutely everything as much as you can. But what I say to a lot of guys is don't be scared. Take care of what you've got now and then start building a plan moving forward.
Brilliant. Well, look, I hope you're looking forward to coming to the show. We certainly are looking forward to having you there. So I think it's important for people like you to come and speak and give your knowledge. So thank you very much for that.
Not at all. It'll be great to actually see you on the day and to actually get my point across.
Excellent. We look forward to that. Don't forget, if you want to catch up with Fitzroy at the show, book your tickets. Go to the Big Zero Show website or futurenetzero.com. Fitzroy, thanks a lot. I'll see you in July.
You've just heard the Net Hero podcast from futurenetzero.com. Join us as we help you find ways to cut your carbon footprint as we head towards net zero. Subscribe and follow us on social media. futurenetzero.com. Better business, better planet.